Welcome to the Realtor Who Wines podcast. I'm Rashelle Newmyer, your hostess with the mostest, a student of life, a connector, a passionate wine enthusiast, and your local favorite guide. Join me as we explore the vibrant Pacific Northwest, savor the finest wines, and champion the spirit of entrepreneurship. Each episode, I'll sit down with inspiring guests, supporting business ownership, and uncovering the stories that make this community unique. So grab a glass of wine, settle in, and let's embark on a journey of discovery and connection together. Cheers! Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Realtor Who Wines. I'm Rashelle Newmyer, your local realtor who loves to wine. Today, I have Lindsey with me. Cheers, Lindsey. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a skill learning how to drink a glass of wine around a mic.
It's like this. I go.
Yeah. Yeah. Today we're drinking a Pinot Noir from Saffron Fields Vineyard, which is actually located in Yamhill-Carlton. Have you been out there before?
I have.
It's really
not
pretty.
This winery, though.
Oh, okay.
No.
You've been to Yamhill-Carlton.
I've been to Yamhill-Carlton.
Yeah. Well, you're a realtor, so.
I mean, we like wine. We like wine.
Yeah. But Saffron Fields is a really cool vineyard. They have estate grapes there, but then they also have like a koi pond. They use their space as like an art, not museum, but like art studio. So like different artists have art up there and stuff. It's really cool. And their wine is delicious.
It's very good.
So I'll have to take you out there sometime. You'd really like it.
I would love that. We could definitely talk about work.
Yeah, wine and work. That's
Wine
the
and
best.
work.
So will you please introduce yourself to everybody?
Okay. Lindsey Culver here, and I'm a principal broker at Premier Property Group. I've been licensed since 2006 in July, so I just had my 19th year anniversary.
Oh, we got to have a big party next year.
I was only 13 when I got my license.
Yeah,
just
perfect.
kidding.
Yeah.
No, I was really young when I got my license, and what else should I tell you?
All your leadership
all
roles.
my
You're the
things.
current president of the Portland Metropolitan Realtors Association.
Okay, that's right. Okay. I am currently the president of Portland Metropolitan Association of Realtors. I'm the past Women's Council of Realtors president, Greater Portland Area Network in 2011.
You're the incoming RRC.
Oh, I'm currently the RRC president for Oregon, and incoming next year, they do a 2-year stint. And then I'll be the RRC National Board of Directors member, which is cool nationally.
Yeah. Well, and for those that don't know what RRC means, do you mind?
Great. Yes, sorry, no acronyms, my bad. Residential Real Estate Council. So what that is kind of like as Women's Council is, they have designations. So like Women's Council has PMN, RRC has CRS designation.
Yeah, and a designation is like a specialty that realtors can earn through education and stuff. So sometimes for those of you not in the real estate industry, if a person ever says to you like, oh, I specialize in this, if you really want to throw them off, say, do you have a designation in that? Because some people will say they specialize in something because they've done 2 relocation deals. And they'll be like, I specialize in relocation. But it's like, were you actually educated on that? Like, what makes you specialize in that? So that's a good question to ask when you're interviewing real estate agents is, do you have a designation in that?
I like that.
Yeah. Cool. So obviously Lindsey holds multiple leadership roles and hats and things like that. How did your journey start as a baby agent to now being the leader that you are?
Goodness. Well, I started in real estate because of my aunt, which is technically my husband's aunt. And she is a longtime realtor, still a realtor in the community. And basically she was like, hey, you're working at Starbucks. I love your customer service. You're so, outgoing. I think it would be a great opportunity for you to have some flexibility. As we all know, that's kind of... Yeah. Realtors make their own time, right? But also you can make a great living in this career, and there's really no glass ceiling. So I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so at 23, I decided to get my real estate license and work for her at a previous real estate company. And that's kind of how I got started in that portion of it.
Yeah. When did you get your first bite of wanting to be more in a leadership role?
Literally right away. So I went to the previous company. They did quarterly events at the Mat Club. And if anybody remembers the Mat Club, it was very
so posh.
And this was like 19 years ago, folks. So, things have changed in our industry. Like now you can see people wearing like jeans and like chill clothes. Like, no, you were wearing like a 3-piece suit.
Yeah,
like
nylons, all the
nylons, like the long skirt. I mean, it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
So I remember being like 23 going, these people are so amazing. And then like all of them were like heavy hitters and all this. And this one lady.
Everyone has a blazer on.
Everybody has a blazer. Probably fancier than this. It was probably like, nine.
Very
Taylor.
Very high shoulder pads. Very pressed.
The puffs. Love the puffs.
Yeah, power puff.
Yes. Actually, they're coming back. It's coming back.
They are.
It's legit.
Yeah.
And there was a lady named Betty Young. So she's still a realtor. She's out of Lake Oswego. And at the time, we're all talking at the MAC Club. And she goes, "You're a new realtor. You need to join Women's Council." And I go, "I do?" And she goes, "You do?" And I go, "Okay." And that was literally the start. She was the catalyst. And it's funny because people go, "It's that easy? Like, that's how your leadership trajectory started?" I was like, yeah, pretty much. Like, that's how it goes.
Well,
sometimes.
You don't know what you don't know. Until someone tells you to show up for something.
Yeah.
So talk about Women's Council and how Women's Council of Realtors has impacted you as an agent, but then also a leader.
Yeah. So once I joined Women's Council locally, I kind of wanted to get my feet wet a little bit, but like from a little bit of a distance. So I didn't jump into any type of board leadership right away. I did what's called check-in. So you get to meet and greet people and like registration. And I was like, "What's your name? And what office are you out of?" All the things like that. And then the next year they're like, "Lindsey, you need to step up. You need
we see more than just registration
like,
for you.
We see a lot of potential." And I was like, "Okay."
We're moving you to coat check.
Pretty much. They actually upgraded me more. They were like, "We're going to have you be secretary." And I'm like, I'm left-handed, dude. Like my scribe skills are a little bit.
Big props to anybody that's ever in the role of secretary or first vice president, because I could never. My ADD or just my like squirrel, or who said what? Like I could never take efficient notes for everybody else to read. I take notes for myself. Yeah. But like to be able to put into minutes later for somebody else would be a disaster.
I nailed it, I gotta say. And this is in my early 20s. So like now if you ask me to do it, honestly, I don't think I could do it. But like I was laser focused because I was like, I can't let these ladies down. And like, I gotta be the best.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to go back to registration.
I don't want to get demoted, right? So I'm like, I can't do that. So I literally, that's what I did. I did the secretary, and then Carrie Hartnett at the time and I, who's our past National Women's Council of Realtors president nationally, like kind of a big deal.
Right.
Was like kind of taking me under her wing and was like, "Lindsey, you'd be great. I think you could really do this." And I'm like, "I don't think I could be president. There's no way. I'm only this
scary.
kid." It is scary. It was scary. It was. But she was like, "No, I see potential." And I was like, "Okay." And so then it just kept like, building that inner confidence, as I call it. Like, "No, you can do it." And like all these ladies just were like, "No, you can do it," and just kind of lifted me up. And
that's what I think is amazing about Women's Council, is because a lot of time, especially not to date us or anything, but we were raised in an era where like survival of the fittest, we were lucky to have one woman in the boardroom. Who was it going to be, kind of a thing. And Women's Council just really embraces like building women in leadership within real estate, but also women supporting women, collaboration over competition, and like that sisterhood, like championing each other. Like, you can do this, you got this, and we're not going to let you fail. If for some reason you messed up, we're right here. Don't worry about it. Like, go for it.
Exactly.
So it really does help launch you into other leadership roles. So you obviously did become president of the Women's Council of Realtors. And then what was your next leadership role after that?
What was my next
Was
leadership?
it within PBG or?
No, I think at that point, then I started to get into Oregon Realtors. So I was a state director a couple years later, and then I joined some committees at Oregon Realtors. Yeah. While Carrie Hartnett was president in 2017 for PMAR, and then she kind of tapped me on the shoulder and got me on the as a local director at PMAR. And so that's kind of how that propelled, right? It's kind of like the snowball effect, as I call it.
Yeah.
So.
What do you say to people when they ask that aren't in our industry and don't really understand, like, wait, you're leading other realtors to compete with you? Like, why would you take the time to do that? How do you respond to that question?
Great question. I think we will continually have people always question that. And for me, I'm very much into collaboration. And so those relationships that I've fostered and met other realtors, you never know when someone needs your help. You
For
never
sure.
know if somebody's across the river and, like, for example, they live on the east side, you live on the west side, and they're like, hey, I don't want to service a listing on the west side. It's too far for me.
Right.
So you never know, like, just because you're working with somebody who's also, quote, a competitor, which I don't see it as a competitor. I see them as allies personally.
Right. Yeah.
There's been many times I can't even tell you, like, just the relationship that Carrie and I have. Like, she moved to Astoria, so I help a lot of her business here in Portland. Well, obviously that relationship wouldn't have been fostered, right, if we weren't working together so closely here in Portland. You just never know when someone is going to need your advice or how to build up your own business. And we bounce ideas off each other. So I don't look at it as like a competition. I look at it as a way to like help build each other up.
Yeah. I also look at it from, I haven't held as many hats as you, but being a leader in the industry, or like when I did Women's Council, a lot of people asked me like, how does being president of Women's Council help your business? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a leader within the industry. That alone helps my business. But I really care about our industry, and I know you do too, and the like level of professionalism. So even if it's not the referral, I'm like glad, oh, I know so-and-so on the other side of the deal. I can actually have a genuine conversation with them. We're not playing mind games or like strategic negotiations, you know, and all this stuff. I could just be like, Lindsey, this is what's going on with my client. Tell me what's up with the seller. How can we get both of them to win? You know, it's a much better experience for us, but also the client, because it's less stressful and all this stuff. And then also having more educated agents out in the field makes everybody's jobs easier.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing ruins a reputation for a whole group when there's just one bad apple out there doing all this crazy crap. And then people assume like, oh, all realtors do is open doors. And you're like, Bradley. No, I'm just kidding. There's no Bradley, but I just made that up. But for real,
I like that name.
Yeah.
I do like that name, actually.
Any Bradleys listening, no offense. But like, yeah, it was just like, you know what I mean? But we all know there's a handful of bad apples out there in any industry.
Sure.
But that's why I get into leadership. And I know that you're the same way. It's like also about like elevating the industry as a whole.
Absolutely.
Too. And through like being part of Oregon Realtors and PMR and stuff, like we both go to mid-years, we go to the Hill, like talk a little bit about that and like what we do outside of just opening doors.
Oh, yeah. Advocacy. I think that's one of the things that I'm so appreciative within our industry and some of our affinity groups, as I call it, which is like Women's Council and YPN and the Asian Association of America and et cetera. A lot of these groups over time have developed the ability like, hey, we need to advocate at the Capitol. And so what we do every other year in Oregon is we go to the Capitol and we fight for, you know, private
The Capitol
property.
in Oregon.
Thank you. Capitol in Oregon, Salem.
Yeah.
And we fight for, you know, private property rights, saving mortgage interest deduction, things like that. And showing our consumers like, hey, we're here to make a difference. This isn't just us for self-fulfilling purposes. Like, we're the #1 trade organization in the nation, which is a huge deal. Like, we are advocating on behalf of our clients, as well as ourselves. And so we're doing that at a local level. And then every year we go to mid-year, which is Washington, D.C. And we're doing that talking to, you know, our local legislators and things like that. And we had a great year. I will say this is by far the most productive year that I thought. Our group, we had Women's Council, we had ARIA, we had NAREB, we had Oregon Realtors, all these different collective groups, right?
Within the industry.
Within the industry, go and lobby at the Capitol. And there was so much power in that room because we were there.
Well, and when we say lobby too, like I think some people are picturing us like holding like
fair
realtors now or like some sort of
negative connotation. Yeah.
But fair. It's very professional, organized conversations with our legislation. We go there prepared with measures that are either about to be brought to the floor to be voted on or things we're hoping that get brought to the floor. And so we really have our legislation's attention because we're not just in there like, you know what would be neat?
Yeah.
Pink. Like, you know, or you just say something weird. But when we're like, hey, measure blah, 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 really impacts our clients. And this is how I had this one client that couldn't buy because of this. Like, we give them real life scenarios and stuff like that too, which is why it's so important to have a diverse representation of all the different groups within our industry. So they get a very clear picture of like what the needs are nationally, but also here locally.
Absolutely.
And we also advocate on behalf of other agents, and like one big topic this year was healthcare, because we're all self-employed and 1099 through our brokerages, and so we don't qualify for discounted healthcare. And so we were just trying to explain that, like, a lot of agents are running around with no healthcare because they can't afford it.
Absolutely.
So, like, we also are there on that behalf too. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, like my deductible, I mean, it's for a family is $18,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a deductible.
Yeah, because you and your husband are a team. You're both self-employed.
Both self-employed.
Yeah, and then you have a family. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit, working with your significant other professionally. Like,
are we really going to talk about that?
I mean, unless, have a sip, and then... But no, like, because some people would stray away from it. You guys seem to be a well-oiled machine when it comes to the real estate business side. How do you guys work together during the day and then come home? Like, is there an off switch where you're like, you're my husband right now, not my business partner? Or is it always going to go back and forth?
The honest answer?
Yeah.
It never shuts off.
Yeah.
That's
I think it would be hard.
It is really hard. And that is, I have a great therapist, just so you all know.
I do too. It's called Disneyland.
Yeah, that's a great therapist right there. When are you taking me to go to Disneyland?
I would love to take you anytime.
Let's go.
Anytime.
It's, it's a give and take. I think Noah, I always say the good cop, bad cop, because he can be kind of the meanie of the group. He likes to negotiate, and he'll talk on the phone till like 11:30 at night to some people. And me, I'm just like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I've been networking all day, or I've been building these relationships. So we kind of have our distinct roles. Of course, everything blends over. And it's hard because I started the business. It's hard when I know exactly what to do, and you tell your partner, like, okay, I need this and this and this and this, and he's like, oh, too much. And I was like, well, I mean, if you were my employee, like, I would need you to get those things done. So it's a hard balance.
Sure.
Yeah.
The end.
I just gotta leave it there.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Okay. Talk about, so you're at PBG.
Yep.
And then how long have you been with PBG? Quite a while.
I just had my 9-year anniversary in July.
So what do you tell agents? So you help mentor agents, and like we see agents hop from brokerage to brokerage and are throughout the years, which is totally fine. It's like a totally normal cycle. But what kind of advice do you give agents when they're interviewing brokerages, or what should they look for in a brokerage?
I don't know if I'm the best person for this, because I came from corporate America like you, and so everything is very dollar related. And so, like, to take the time to just arbitrarily hire somebody because they're a pulse and they have a pulse, it doesn't work for me. So I'm very much interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me. And I'm just super transparent with them. I'm like, to me, we have a very robust education system. Our fees are very fair. We have right now, I think, 13 reviewing brokers, because we're the number one biggest real estate agency or real estate firm in the Pacific Northwest, because all of them are owned. Like, they're all owned. So we
independently,
have, like,
right?
Independently, they're all owned.
Yeah.
So it's like, basically, I think we have like almost 1,300 agents. And so for me, it's like, I look at somebody and I go, well, where are you coming from? What's your intention? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like, well, I don't have a nest egg of a year, which is really hard to have a nest egg of a year. So I am probably, bizarrely, I tell people to keep their job, but they've got to work hard, because otherwise, like, how are they supposed to make a living? Like, it's just very difficult, especially in today's world. So that's one of my things that's probably super unconventional. Like, everybody's like, you got to quit your job and go full throttle. And like, the problem with that is some people aren't just geared that way. I mean,
I see both sides of the coin. I see that, like, if you're halfway in, halfway out, you're always going to be halfway in, halfway out. If you are keeping your job long enough to keep food on the table, the lights on, until you can figure out how to make real estate your full-time gig, that's totally different. But then you're not really halfway in, halfway out. I think a lot of people do get into the industry, especially, I mean, we saw this during the COVID era, when like interest rates were down to like 2.5%, 3%, and houses were just selling like crazy. There wasn't a lot of skill in the negotiation. A lot of people used transaction coordinators, so they weren't even doing their own paperwork. And then right now, it's a little bit more dynamic of a market, and it's, you know, like there's a lot more work than just putting a sign in the yard. And so right now, people are like, well, I'm gonna work until the market shifts.
Sure.
And then it's like, well, you can, but then also like, you're just doing such a disservice if you're not actually like doing real estate to do real estate. If you're doing it for when like interest rates, which by the way, they'll never be 3% again. And if they are, please call me and say, you were wrong. I would happily be wrong.
We're in a slew of problems if it happens again. Let's just be real. Yeah. We're in another catastrophic, like World War III something.
Well, and like we saw here in the Pacific Northwest, I mean, home prices just like shot up because interest rates were so low, and people were buying houses 75, 100, 125 over asking to like get the home. And so it created this like chaos. But the whole, like derailing a little bit here, but the whole point is like, don't just be half in, half out. Like I know so many agents that are like, well, when this happens, then I'll go full time. And it's like, well, you have to make that mindset. Like, I'm going to make this happen so I can go full time. Those agents succeed. And I agree. Those are the agents that you should say, yeah, keep your job. Like keep food on the table. Right. But the agents that are like, I don't know, I think it'd be fun. Your job just looks so fun. Houses. Yeah. Like, You have to love people, not houses, if you want to be in real estate.
Yeah, it's a relationship-based business, right? I mean, and that's the thing, the success rate, they were always saying it's an 80-20. Honestly, I think it's a 90-10 right now. I think it is probably one of the most difficult markets that I have seen since the recession. Because it's randomly like some people are crushing it and others aren't. And the metrics are so out there, and one house should sell and it doesn't, or vice versa. Yeah. It's just strange.
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do with what price did it go on? You know, like we're in this really weird position. So for anyone listening, this episode will be on in November of 2025, but we're recording in September of 2025. So just to give a little perspective of when we say today. But right now we have buyers that are frustrated with what interest rates are and how much they need for down payments, and they need help with closing costs and all of those things. And then you have sellers that have seen their friends sell in the last few years, get top dollar for their property, not have to pay for repairs, not have to pay any concessions. And so sellers want everything and buyers want everything. And it's very highly emotional out there right now. And it's a delicate dance when you're trying to navigate that conversation. And because there are quite a few agents that have only done a handful of deals this year, they're also worried about feeding their family. So they're very emotional, like, this is gonna close. And you're like, I understand, but like, what is the best option for the clients? Like, I want to feed my daughter too, but I also care about my clients, and this doesn't make sense. Like, we're not gonna pay for XYZ. You know, it's a really interesting market right now where like sellers feel cheated, buyers feel cheated, and then you have a lot of agents that are like, if I don't close this deal, I'm done. You know, it's crazy.
It's high stress.
For
sure.
Yeah. This biz is not for the weak.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah. So with that being said, what is some advice when you're mentoring newer agents and they are like, you know what, maybe I should get out of real estate? What is something you say to help them make that decision if they should or should not get out of real estate?
Well, if you're thinking about it, you should get out. No, I'm
Bye.
Bye.
No, just kidding.
I mean, a lot of it is grit, right? Like this is where our former athletics kind of come into play. And I love my mentees that were former athletes or current teachers, because they're super organized and they know how to do a database, and they're just organized.
And a business plan. Yeah.
And a business plan. They just get it.
Yeah.
Those are the two people that I love mentoring and coaching, because they get it. So I really try and figure out, like, what are you looking for? Yeah. Right? It's like it's me asking those questions. What are you trying to accomplish out of this?
Yeah.
Well, I want to make $100,000. okay, what are you going to do with this? Like, how are you going to get there? Like, and it's building backwards, right?
Well, it is really interesting how many agents will say, I want to make $100,000. And then if you say, why? They don't actually know why. Yep. Like, it's not because if I made $100,000, I'd pay all my bills, plus I could take 2 vacations and build a nest egg. There's not a lot of times a full answer like that. Or because if I don't make $100,000, I won't be able to pay all my bills or whatever. A lot of times it's like,
the why is not there.
Well, it's just the number. Like, I want to make $1 million because that sounds amazing, you know? So sometimes it's, well, why $100,000? And then the how. Obviously, like, well, to make $100,000, how many houses do you need to sell, and what's your average price point? So to your point, then you like work backwards and like help them build a plan. And sometimes, like, you're talking to somebody that's sold 2 houses in a year, and they're like, I want to make $100,000, which is achievable. But you obviously can't keep doing what you did to sell 2 houses. You have to do something different, to be able to sell 12 houses. To make that.
And the staying in contact, I think, is huge. And this is where all of my mentees, for the most part, struggle. It's the database.
Yeah.
They are so apprehensive. Well, I don't know what to say. You don't need to say. You can just be like, hey, I was thinking about you. I drove by your house today. I think people think about it. They like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's think about, like, emotionally, like, what would, if somebody drove by my house and just picked up the phone and said, Lindsey, I just drove by your house and I thought about you. I'd be like, that's rad. Who would say, ugh, why did you call me?
What a creep.
Yeah, what a creep. Like, nobody would say that. And frankly, if they did, I don't think they should be your friend.
Well, and we are talking about real estate specific, but anybody that's listening, that's in business, sales, anything, like, this really pertains to you too.
It's
like,
breaking bread.
Yeah.
You're building a relationship with somebody, and you're connecting on a different level.
Yeah. Well, and nobody likes a person that's only reaching out about themselves either. Like, I actually cringe. Like, even if I have a reason to reach out and it has to do with real estate, because, like, let's say you're like, hey, if this neighborhood ever has a house for sale, I want you to call me. I still, even though you asked me to do that for like a split second, that like that self-doubt is like, well, that was a year ago. Are they going to be like, seriously? You know, anyways, but like, they're always happy that you called, even when you're calling, because they asked you to.
Right.
But they're for sure not going to be mad if you're like, hey, I was just at XYZ and it made me think of you. Or I'm at Saffron Fields. Do you want to come meet me and have a glass of wine? Kind of a thing. Yeah.
People overcomplicate, and that's in any business, right?
Yeah.
It's about being genuine and your authentic self. And I think that's a lot of times, like, the ones that are truly thriving are being their authentic self, and they'll work with the people that are like them, right?
Yeah.
Like, and let's be real, we don't always get the most perfect clients like us, and we get the power as much as them to say we're not a good fit. Yeah. We have that power. We don't have to work with everybody.
Yeah, well, and sometimes being in business and doing what's right is saying that. Like, you know what, I'm not the right realtor for you. Or, you know what, I don't cover that area. Like what you were just saying with, like, Carrie's in Astoria. She knows Astoria, not us. Yeah. Why would I try and sell a house in Astoria? But I'd gladly talk to you about wanting to buy in Astoria, partner you with Carrie, transition you over, and put you in the right hands. Can I drive to Astoria? Sure. Does all of my licensings let me sell a house in Astoria? Absolutely. Would I be doing you a disservice? Yep.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're like, let's roll the dice. You gamble, I'll gamble. I'll be like, okay.
Here we go.
I don't know if this is a good neighborhood or like what you're looking for or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it is putting your client's needs first and just take yourself out of it a little bit.
That's right.
Do the right thing.
Be the change you wish to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's hard because sometimes when you are, let's say, having a tough year and you only have one client and you know that it's not a good fit, there are agents that'll hang on for dear life. And you're like, you got to cut that client loose. You guys are not a right fit for each other. Your mental health is showing. Like, you got to let them go. But it's hard.
Well, and actually, I have a small, quick story. But basically, I had an agent tell me that. And they were just struggling. And I said, you're spending 4 times the effort with this one when you're taking away from a potential person, like 4 people, because you're exerting so much energy on this one and it's stressing you out. Piece them out, go refer it out, whatever it is, she did that, and then she got the clients that, that came to her because she was open-minded, realized that this was so...
Well, not so focused on something else.
Right, and it was such negative energy.
Yeah,
they were just
draining.
so draining, and it just wasn't a good fit. It was just, she just wasn't listening to herself.
Yeah.
So, it happens. We've all been there.
Totally.
Yeah.
What would you tell an agent that's like been in the business about 5 years and wants to take their business to the next level?
Like they want to become a principal broker, they want to
just elevate in any way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first I'd find out where they're looking. Are they thinking leadership? Do they want to build a team? Where do they want to go? And then work on their 5-year plan. I think it's really important, but to also be nimble too, because sometimes you could have a plan and things get derailed like that.
Oh, for sure.
Like medical, family, whatever it is. So you need to be versatile in the sense of, okay, this is my trajectory. This is like where I want to go, but family comes first, or I've got to pivot. Yeah. Pivot. Remember that from COVID? Pivot. But that's pretty much.
That's so funny. You thought of COVID. I thought of the episode of Friends when Ross is trying to get.
Oh, really?
The couch. Have you ever seen?
I've seen Friends.
Okay. I was like, you're looking at me like I'm weird.
But I don't remember that episode.
I'm going to have to show you. Anyways, it's a whole thing. If you're a Friends fan, you would know what I'm talking about.
They probably are excited, and they were like, oh, Friends. And then everybody's like, doomsday, COVID, there she goes. But yeah, I mean, each person's trajectory, it's all dependent. So I would just say, sit down with somebody that you trust. Like I have people all the time that's just like, can I pick your brain? And like, I'm indecisive. I don't really know where to go. I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting for this. And it's really just figuring out where you want to go, what's important to you. Vision boards, we've done those before. There's so many different ways.
Well, and I do think it's important if you're not going to be involved in heavily in your association, your brokerage, women's council, any of those things, right? At least still find your tribe. Because you and I could call, if we stop doing all leadership things tomorrow, you and I still have a big tribe, including each other, where I could be like, Lindsey, what do you think about this? Or I'm thinking about doing this kind of event for clients, or even vice versa. We've been like, you should bring this speaker into your brokerage. We just had the speaker at our brokerage. It was great, or whatever, I think it's really important to have a tribe to bounce ideas off of.
Well, that brings up a good point. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see with agents in general is they become isolated, because this industry, even though, I don't know if this is the best analogy, water all around, but not a drop to drink. Even though you are surrounded by so many realtors, sometimes it is isolating and lonely because you're not necessarily connecting on a deeper level. And so I really think joining one of those affinity groups, or being immersed, or watching, going to women's council events, or doing something to be connected. Yeah. Because one, you need to be educated. Okay. And two, it's healthy to bounce ideas off of each other. I mean, how many times have we bounced ideas off each other? Oh,
tons. Well, and some of it too is also be authentic while you're at those things. I think some agents come in thinking when someone's like, how's business? It's great. Closing deals left and right. And they haven't closed anything all year. And you're like, cool, that's awesome. But if that's not the truth, that's not the truth. Tell the truth. Be like, what, this has been an interesting, we've done that before. This quarter's been really weird. Or I've had I haven't sold a mobile home in years, and all of a sudden this year I've sold 4.
Yes.
It's just kind of weird.
You're an expert now.
Well, yeah. I have a designation. No, I'm just kidding. But it is weird how stuff comes in waves. And so it's just oh, yeah, okay. But it's be honest about it.
For sure.
Yeah, and just because, one, you'll get something out of it, and you'll find relatability. Because even if you are closing deals left and right, cool. Talk about that.
Yeah, actually, can I embellish a little more?
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing that I tell agents too is and I've been down too, where I'm one listing and I have no buyers, for example, right? Well, if you just go, well, I don't have anything, and you Debbie Downer and you go home and sit there and twiddle your thumbs, you're perpetually putting negative energy. Yeah. Okay, so what can you do? One, hold somebody's open houses. Okay, just being out there, hold someone's open houses. Two, you could go to someone and say, hey, I'm a little bit slower. I would love to still be involved. If you have if you have a home inspection I can do, if I could take one of your buyers when you're out of town, keep in the real estate world. That's why it's so important to go to the education classes.
Yeah.
And if you're well, I don't have a lot of money, then you could be well, there's a lot of free stuff too.
Yeah.
So
or just go sit in your
just gotta be, because once this is positive, you start putting that out into the universe, and you will get more business.
Yeah.
it just is inevitable. It happens to me all the time.
Well, and sometimes too, let's say you do have a listing that's not moving and you're just like, not sure what's going on. It's priced right. Like what's happening. The best thing is to ask other realtors that you know to go do a walkthrough and to give you honest feedback. Cause they're not going to be like, it showed great.
Yeah.
That's not good feedback. That doesn't help the sellers. It doesn't help you. But it's like, oh, it did show really nice. But what was going on with the arborvitae in the backyard? That was kind of weird. And you're like, oh, okay, maybe that's what's deterring people. It's nice to have somebody's opinion.
And being candid. I did that with Deb. Mm-hmm. Like her listing that was over off of, like it was in Beaverton. Mm-hmm. And I literally did a laundry list and she's like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
like,
because it's helpful.
Well, absolutely. I was like, it should be this, you should move this, you should do this, blah, 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 blah. I was like, she's like, wow, thank you so much. I'm like, that's what we're here for. Like we build each other up. Yeah. We help each other out.
Definitely. Well, and sometimes just getting agents in the house too that you know and trust. Then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Now that I'm here, I actually do have a client for this area. I didn't think about it before when you mentioned it to me. Or I just got them when you first mentioned it to me. I didn't have these clients. Now I do.
Well, pictures don't always do it justice, regardless if you have a killer photographer like I do. But like sometimes you just don't have the vision or it just isn't quite there, the person. You know, it's all about interpretation, right?
Well, and let's be honest. Sometimes it's glamour shots and you show up to the place and you're like, whoa, this does not look like the pictures. And you're disappointed. Or other times you show up and you're like, whoa. This place is super nice. The pictures did not do it justice.
I want to do glamour shots for my next,
your headshot?
Realtor headshots.
Oh my gosh. Like, please do the one with like the mirror and like a feather boa.
That's what I was thinking.
And like have it, you could have like a for sale sign.
I want the perm
that's like projected in the mirror behind you.
You know what? We should do that for Women's Council. Wouldn't that be so fun if we did an event like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like fake headshots.
Just fake headshots. But like if somebody really wants to use them, which I totally would.
You would use a traditional glamour shot.
Yes, I would.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I would.
I can't wait to see. We will be posting these pictures
well,
later.
I just said it on camera, so clearly they're going to have to, I got to hold true.
Yeah. Sometimes our ideas are not the best.
They're funny though.
We do have a lot of fun. We do laugh a lot for sure. Yeah. What's next for you? With like leadership, I mean, you are moving into a national role with RRC.
Yeah. What's
beyond that, or are you just focused on that for right now?
That's a great question. I don't know. I've been trying to think about that. We just had hired a new CEO for PMAR, so that's been the real big focus here the last 4 months. I don't know. I mean, I just want to make a difference. I know that sounds so cliche. Like, I want to make a difference in the world. But, like, I really do. Like, I love helping and mentoring agents and finding their inner flame. I think a lot of times, like, a lot of people self-doubt. Like you just said, well, they asked me a year ago. No. Go up and call them. Like,
but I think it's just natural. Like, sometimes we second guess ourselves. But the athlete is, take the shot anyways.
Right.
Like, I might miss this shot.
What's my favorite quote?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't know what quote you're wanting me to say because you have a lot. Okay.
It's Wayne Gretzky, not Michael Jordan, everybody. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that is my favorite quote because it's true. Like, you never know till you ask somebody.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I tell that to Juliet and, like, I mean, sometimes.
Juliet's her daughter.
That's my daughter.
Yeah.
She's taking it out of context one time because, like, somebody at a hockey game was, like, got the hockey puck and she goes, well, you always said. And I go, well, in this particular case, don't ask him for the hockey puck.
You can always trust your kids to humble you.
But for the most part, you know, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah.
Like, ask the questions, and you never know.
Yeah. What's the worst that's going to happen?
They're going to say no.
Right. And you'll still be breathing. I said that to my 10-year-old yesterday. She was just like, well, I got nervous. And I was like, but you did it anyway. She goes, yeah. And I go, and are you alive? She's like, yeah. And I go, then it's fine.
There you go.
Yeah. Like, worse things could happen. So I appreciate you. Obviously, you and I could talk for hours and hours. I feel like this went
by so fast.
I know. It really did. But I will definitely have you back next season.
We'll do a round 2?
Yeah. Sweet. And we'll have glamour shots.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. Are we going to, and then we'll show everybody the glamour shots?
Yeah. Perfect. We should do like awkward family photo glamour shots too for like Women's Council. Like, here's the girls. We could do like
girls.
Yeah. Yeah. We could do like a sitcom intro.
Estelle. I want to be Estelle.
Hilarious. If you're still listening, thank you. If not, we'll see you next time. Thank you for being here.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Bye. I'll see you next time. Bye.